Okay, you guys, if you can see and hear me, let me know. That would be so fantastic. Alrighty. It's so funny. I have to move the opposite direction than I think I have to move in order to be in my screen. There we go. Okay, you guys, can I get a couple of thumbs up or some comments that you guys can see and hear me? It looks like I'm good on my end, but I would really love some feedback to know I'm in the right spot. Okay, super, super awesome. All right, you guys, we are going to jump right in. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a minute since I have done a workshop, and these just get me so excited. And what they really make me do is hone in on my messaging, which has just been really an exciting part of what I've been focusing on lately. So hopefully what I bring to you today creates some aha moments for you, and you leave maybe just a little bit more with just a little bit more clarity for your fitness and your nutrition journey from now on. All right, so we're just going to jump right in. Let me just make sure I know how to navigate here. Okay, yes, it looks like I'm working. You can see my screen. I know at least I have a couple of eyeballs on there. Okay, so welcome to today's workshop. It is called Simplify to Glow, Small Steps to Create Some Big Changes in this wonderful season of midlife that we are in. So the goal today really, and over the next 3 days, is going to be to simplify, to ditch the overwhelm, to figure out how we can make some sustainable change in the fitness, nutrition, and mindset department so that you can feel strong and nourished and energized in midlife. So no more extremes, no more perfection, just small shifts that actually stick, because in the end, that is what actually makes the difference. So here is the roadmap that we are going to follow. I'm going to jump ahead really quick. So here's the 3-day agenda that we're going to follow. So we have day 1. Again, today is simple, is sustainable. I'm going to be going over 3 different methods over the course of these 3 days together. So today is all about mindset, simplicity. We're really setting the stage for creating consistency in your life. Tomorrow, we're going to dive into fitness, where I'm going to be teaching you my 2x5 strong method, where you don't have to spend hours and hours in the gym, but you can create lifestyle change, get stronger with just a minimal amount of workouts per week. And then on day 3, we're going to cover nutrition. And this is what I'm really so excited to share with you guys, is my 4x4 fist method. It's a very simple, no math required way to really feel good about fueling your body. And so each day you're going to get a tool that you can use right away, something that you can implement immediately, plus a small homework item that helps you actually put these things into practice. So before we jump into the actual content today, I want to go over some logistics. So we are here together for the next 3 days, 20 to 30 minute interval training sessions that we're going to do. And in between each of those, you will get an email with a recap and a replay and a link to where you can submit your homework if you register. So if you snuck in here today, you're just inside the Facebook group, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. You definitely do want to register. So you'll see it all throughout the Facebook group, but I'll definitely drop the link in the comments below after the live is over so that you can easily register afterwards today. That way you get the email reminders that we're going live and the links to watch the replay. Okay, there will be optional homework and the ability to win prizes just for participating. And I'll share more about that stuff a little bit later. Okay, so today is day number 1. Simplicity and sustainability are really the secret to progress when it comes to health and nutrition. So what we want to do in this midlife age is really ditch that overwhelm so that we can build habits that last, so that we can create strength and energy and eventually confidence in this age of midlife. So what we are going to talk about today is why traditional approaches that maybe worked in our 20s and 30s are not built for this stage of life. So they're just not working. And it's overcomplicating the process, which then actually causes you to stall out or quit or postpone. And that's what's actually being your barrier to creating progress in your health and fitness journey. So I'm going to introduce you today to my simpler method, and we're going to practice those first steps together today. Okay, before we jump into how to create the simplicity, I want to kind of do a little reality check with you guys. I would love to see some thumbs up in the comments. First of all, if you are watching live, I would love to see. Facebook does not tell me. I can see that there are eyeballs on, but I don't know who's here. So I would love it if you just dropped a little hi in the comments or a little thumbs up or a little wave. Also, if any of this resonates with you, I would love to hear that. If you are catching the replay, be sure to write replay in here so that I know you watched and you were here. Okay, so in this season of midlife, when I say we are going through changes, that is like an understatement, right? So physically, our body is changing. Our hormones are all over the place. Our metabolism has completely changed from what it used to be in our 20s and our 30s. Our weight seems harder to manage. Our energy definitely does. Some roller coasters. If you are with me, please give me some thumbs up. I know I'm not the only one. But at the same time, like our life is changing as well. So we are potentially caregiving still for children living at home, or we're trying to support kids from far away, which I'm learning is a journey all in itself, right? Like that is almost just as hard as the mom that we used to have to deal with when they were young and in our house, just trying to help navigate, the big emotions and everything from far away. That's challenging. I have empty nest. I'm staring down the tunnel at empty nesthood. I have 2 more years with my girl here still at home. And that is like a huge change coming down the pipes for me. And I know that you guys are the same. Career shifts. A lot of times relationships are changing. So we have all of this that we're navigating, these big transitions. But then we also have this like, who the heck am I? I was volunteer forever. I was the taxi driver for my kids. I was the vacation planner and wore all these hats, but now I'm kind of like, who am I, right? So all of this is happening at the same time. And so this is why in midlife, we require a different approach when we are trying to combat all of these different things as it relates to our health and our fitness and our nutrition, so that we can really, instead of fight against it, work with this season that we're actually living in right now. I am here to tell you that midlife does not need to be a crisis. I love this whole revolution of, really claiming our identity here in midlife instead of, I remember like when my parents were in their 40s and 50s, you thought you heard about like the guy getting the red sports car. Like that was the extent of midlife crisis, right? And that's what we thought of. But now it really is this opportunity for us to create the next half, best half of our life and become the strongest, most vibrant version of ourselves. But it's not going to happen by accident. And so that's where my goal with this workshop today and really everything that I do in my business is really to help you create a simpler, more sustainable approach that really supports the life that you want to live now, but also that future self that you're building intentionally, one step, one bite at a time. So I believe that the goal of health in midlife is to feel strong and nourished and energized so that we can maintain or even improve the quality of life that we have, so that we can keep doing the things that we love with the people that we love. I would love to hear from you. Does that resonate? Like, does that actually sound like your goal for midlife? Maybe not. But what I've identified is that there are 3 pillars of health that are really important for us to focus on when we're thinking about this big picture of being healthy in this stage of life. And I just want to remind you guys, like in our younger years, sometimes I think health or, fitness, nutrition was more about punishing ourselves and the number on the scale or the size of our pants. And it was, I don't know about you, but I always felt like I was chasing this version of perfection that probably was never going to exist anyway. But I always felt in this cycle of guilt and shame for not doing enough, for not being where I wanted to be, for comparing myself to other people, when really the goal is about helping our physical body be its best so that we can enjoy this amazing life with the people that we get to spend it with. That, in my opinion, is the actual goal. So let's dive a little bit deeper into these 3 pillars of health in midlife. So for fitness, in my opinion, and I have been in this field for a really long time. I'm coming on 30 years. I just realized I was, before college, got my certification to teach group exercise. So yes, I've been doing this for a really long time. And I have identified that with the fitness piece of it, strength, number 1, we have to build strong, resilient bodies Number 2, mobility. We must protect our joints so that they're able to move and flex and bend and all curl and all the things that we're supposed to be able to do with our arms and our legs and our neck and our hips and our back. And then also energy. So if we don't have the energy to do the things that we love, even if our body works great, then we're going to end up sitting on the couch instead of being on the floor with our grandkids or traveling the world, right? And then for number 2, nutrition. In my opinion, the most important thing we can do is think about fueling our body instead of dieting, restricting, depriving, all of these things that focus on lack mentality, when the truth is we have an abundant amount of food that is at our disposal. Most of us are lucky enough, fortunate enough to be able to afford good quality food. And the key is finding the ones that satisfy us, that we actually enjoy eating, and then intentionally using that food to fuel our body without focusing on extremes and dieting and things like that, so that again we have the strength and the energy that we need to live this life that we want to live, right? And then finally, mindset. So mindset is the key here, because truly knowledge is not what we need any more of, especially in this era of AI. Like, we have knowledge coming at us, we have an abundance of knowledge. So if you wanted to have all the tips and tricks and recipes and all the things, it's at your disposal. But the truth is that knowledge doesn't actually create the change. What creates the change is habits, your consistency. So when you create habits that actually stick, and then you just get into the routine, the habit of showing up for yourself, that's when we actually make the change that sticks. So over these 3 days, these are the 3 pillars that we're going to be talking about as it relates to health and midlife. But before we move on, all right, we talked about like the reality of midlife, and we talked about like the goals of health and midlife. But I do want to spend just a moment identifying, maybe connecting with you, the listener, the watcher, on these struggles in midlife, because I am here to tell you I am with you. Midlife health definitely feels harder because we have tried the restrictive diets. We have tried counting calories and tracking macronutrients. We've tried weighing our food. Most of us have, not everybody, but most of us who are concerned with health and fitness and nutrition have done these extremes. We are surrounded, like I said, by this overwhelming amount of information. Like, do this and don't do that, and you should do this and you shouldn't do that. And it's exhausting to try to sort through all of it. Should I do intermittent fasting? Should I restrict calories? Should I cut out carbohydrates? Should I follow this plan? Should I take these supplements? Like, it's a lot, right? And then a lot of times we feel like we have to spend hours and hours working out in order to create change, because gosh, what I've been doing isn't creating the results anymore. So I must need to do more. Maybe I need to add this and that and this and that. It's just not realistic, especially when we're juggling all those changes that we talked about. So career changes and caregiving and families and relationships, all these things. And then finally, inconsistency is probably the number one obstacle that is standing in the way of the clients that I work with, the people that I see, the people I have conversations with, because it is hard to find consistency when you are trying to weed through all the things we just went through and figure out what's going to stick with you. So what we need to do is get consistent, even if it's little things, because the consistency over time is what actually creates the results that we're looking for. So it is not you are not the problem. And midlife really isn't even the problem. It's that we are trying to fit our life into a set of restrictions, a set of plans that are complicated, that might have worked in our 20s and 30s, but it doesn't work anymore. So it's not that you don't know what to do. It's just that you're trying to weed through all these complexities and then make that fit your real life. So that really is the struggle. Okay, so we're going to jump right into what is the answer. Simplicity really is the answer. So when we're stuck in that overwhelm, that inaction, that decision fatigue, it leaves us being stuck. When in reality, if we can really simplify the whole process, then that is what actually can create consistency and therefore create results. So what actually works is simplicity. So the cost here is complexity. So when health feels complex, it's actually draining when we're like trying to follow all these rules and track our macronutrients. And there's just too many moving pieces, right? Then we are faced with decision fatigue. And that really is the main problem with fitness, with nutrition that I see is just this, I'm stuck. I know what to do, but I really don't know the next step forward. When overwhelm sets in, I call it overwhelmation. We're overwhelmed. What happens? We quit or we put it off and then we say, I'll start Monday. And then how many times have you said, okay, on Monday, I'll start over. And then Monday comes, you've got all these great intentions, maybe even prepped a little bit. And then by Wednesday, you're back to the wine and the chips and the not eating breakfast and the skipping the workouts. And every time we do that, it actually chips away at our confidence. And we start to lose that trust that we have in ourselves. But again, it's the plan that is broken. It's not you. So the complexity isn't helping us with the consistency. The complexity is keeping us stuck. So what actually works is a simple, repeatable system that leads to sustainability. Simplicity beats perfection every single time. When you can have a plan that is simple enough that you can stick to and even repeat on your busiest days, that is a plan that's actually going to stick. Repeatable enough that it actually becomes a rhythm in your life. These are things that just happen. They're your routines, they're your rituals. They happen because it's not just what you do to check a box, but it's who you are, right? These are sustainable enough to work not just this week, but also next week, and then for years and years to come. When your plan is simple, then you actually do it. And then when you repeat it, it becomes a habit. And then when that becomes a habit, then you actually have time to build progress, which then creates this confidence. And the confidence, I really believe, is what a lot of us are after. Is like, I just want to feel good in my body. I want to feel confident. Okay, so if anything is resonating, please, you guys, I would love to see. I know I've got eyeballs on, so give me a thumbs up, give me a yes. Maybe you're talking in the comments and I can't even see it. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so I have identified there are 4 C's of progress in the midlife. So this is the path. I want you guys to picture it kind of like a staircase. So we first start out with clarity, and that is what tonight is all about. Really, day one is like getting clarity. So we're cutting through the noise. We're focusing on what truly matters, okay? When we get clear on what really matters, then we can create consistency. So consistency is taking the small, doable actions that actually repeat over time. And that leads to commitment. Once you start to see progress, then you trust yourself more to keep showing up. And then that commitment really gets solidified. And then finally, the end result is confidence. So it's confidence in your body, in your energy, and in your ability to continue to sustain these habits for life. And I think I actually realized I went a little deeper. Yeah, here we go. So there it is, all spelled out for you guys again. Okay, so what I really would like to encourage you guys to do is to start small. So if you're here, then it's time to glow up. I love this concept of glowing up. It's like this growing up, but from the inside out. And you honestly do not need to change everything. In fact, I would much rather you change one little thing. Just get started. Make a tiny shift in your habits that are going to create momentum. And that is what actually can literally change the trajectory of your life. So give yourself permission to show up imperfectly, consistently. So that is why I created my simpler method. It is a roadmap that helps you cut through with really any goal that you're focusing on in this busy, messy, imperfect season of midlife. And so if you've been in previous trainings with me before, this might sound familiar, but it's worth repeating. And for those of you who this is brand new, just listen up. Take a little sip of my fizz. I got all my beverages here. Are you guys drinking along with me? Okay, so this is a framework that is helping to create sustainability in health in your midlife to take away the overwhelm and really give you a roadmap for sustainable change. So number one, we're going to go a little bit deeper into these, but number one is start with gratitude. Gratitude is the most, in my opinion, important thing that we can do for our mindset. When we focus on gratitude, it actually takes up so much space in our brain that we can't you can't focus on gratitude and be mad at the world at the same time. So start with gratitude. I is identify room for improvement. We all have room for improvement, no matter how far along on this health and fitness journey that we are on. We all have room for improvement. So it's about getting clear on what we want to focus on, what needs room, what needs improvement, and then really niche that down so specifically so that when it comes time to make a plan, you are like, exactly, this is what I'm doing. It's not, I'm going to eat healthy every day. I'm going to food prep every day. I'm going to eat 100 grams of protein. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to walk every day. I'm going to add the weighted vest. I'm going to add in Pilates. Blah, 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 blah. It's too much. Okay. So identify room for improvement. We're going to get really clear. M is make a plan. That is one of my, as a coach, that is one of my most favorite places to hang out. Days 2 and 3 of this workshop are all about the plan. So don't worry, we're going to get to that. P is the positive mindset. And so circling back to gratitude, that's where it begins. So when we think about starting with gratitude for our healthy lifestyle, like we can think about, I'm grateful I have a body. Like that's a great place to start, right? None of us would be here if we didn't have a body. We wouldn't be on this training. We wouldn't be enjoying dinner with our family after this. Like we need our body, right? So that's really great step in that positive mindset department there. We could spend an entire training on just the mindset piece. Super, super important. My number one tip for you here is just start leaning in, start listening to your self-talk and catching yourself when you have a negative feedback loop. Just stop it, notice it, acknowledge it, and then what can you do to reprogram that negative feedback loop? Okay, L is leap into action. If you guys have read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, so this is exactly that. Leap into action is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Just get started, do something small, something that you can be proud of, and then move on. We're not talking about making an entire life change. E is establish the habit, and R is reinforce the habit. So if you have not read Atomic Habits, I highly recommend that book. But E and R is typically where I spend the majority of my time with my one-on-one coaching clients, with my group coaching clients, is really in establishing that habit. Once you've got the habit established and we reinforce it, it becomes part of who you are. My job is done. So this is the simpler method. So I'm going to just move on. So why this sticks, why this is really important is what we used to do. And I know this isn't everybody, but I think a lot of us can relate to this. We used to rely on willpower. And it was pretty strong and that could get us pretty far, but often willpower disintegrates. It's not reliable. Same with motivation. We cannot rely on these things. So what happens is we get started and then we forget or we fall off or we fail or we whatever. And then we feel guilt and then we quit. And then we feel even guiltier because we didn't follow through and say what we said what we were going to do, do what we said we were going to do. That's why the old way just doesn't work. But the simpler way, when we go from having a grateful heart to making a really solid plan and then getting into small actions and then reinforcing that, creating consistency, that is why this sticks. It's not about perfection. It's not about punishment, but it's actually about building habits that fit your real life. Okay, so we're going to put this into action. This is your homework for tonight, which I will share a little bit more how to turn in your homework and why that's important. I know you kind of can't see that bottom part because I'm covering it, but so when we put the simpler method into action, tonight we're just going to focus on these first two, S and I, but the first thing that's really important for what we're doing here over the next 3 days is I really would like for you guys to identify your focus. So this is really important. I think, again, when we try to do it all, it's overwhelming and we quit, right? So let's just pick one, either fitness or nutrition. Tucker's saying hi there in the background. Or you could choose both. If you're feeling like gung-ho, ready to go, you could choose both. But I think for our purposes, pick one, fitness or nutrition. Pick an area that you want to focus on over the next 3 days. And then we're going to move on. Actually, I want to just stay there for 1 sec. If you've been struggling to move consistently, please choose fitness. Like if that is something that has just been weighing on you, like, oh, I really wish I had followed through. I keep saying I'm going to get fit and then I just don't do it, whatever. If that's your inner voice talking, choose fitness. If food feels really stressful and complicated and overwhelming and you just want it to be easy, then choose nutrition. And if you want to do both, that's okay too. Okay, for your homework tonight, you don't have to do this now. In your workbook, you'll see all of this kind of laid out for you. S is one thing that you're grateful for as it relates to your health, but I would love for you to get a little bit more specific in your focus. So if your focus is fitness, then your S, sorry, your gratitude, starting with gratitude, you are grateful for something having to do with fitness. If it's nutrition, it's something to do with nutrition. So I'm grateful that I have the means to purchase, quality food, right? Like that could be your first thing. Your second thing is you're going to write down one area that you'd like to improve. Okay. And that is underneath the category. So if you chose fitness, then you're going to write down one thing you're grateful for having to do with your health and fitness. And then what is an area around your fitness that you really would like to improve? So maybe it's consistency, maybe it's lifting weights, maybe it's flexibility or mobility, whatever it is, that's your area that you want to focus on improving. Then that's what you're going to write down. So that is your homework, and I'll circle back to that in just a minute. I want to really quick share with you guys a really exciting client win. So this is Amber. She gave me permission to share. Oh, I'm covering up her, her bottom photo. Anyway, I met Amber at an in-person event that I did back in May. If you guys were there at the Grow and Glow event with me and Mary, she was in the audience, and she was like, oh gosh, I like this exact person I have just explained, just shared with you guys, like shared the picture of. So she was overwhelmed. She was going through life changes big time. She was going through career changes big time. And she said, gosh, I just keep telling myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And it had been actually a really long time. And she was just ready, but not ready. She was super unsure. And I'm like, it's okay. I got you. We're going to really simplify this whole process. So she started one-on-one coaching with me back in June. And her transformation has been seriously incredible. But I want to get really clear with you guys. She did not flip her entire life upside down when we started working together. She started so small, even smaller than maybe I would have encouraged her to start at the beginning, but she knew herself. And this is what she wanted to focus on. She's like, I have got to stop drinking Diet Coke. So I really, like, I don't even want to stop altogether. I just want to like make a little drop in the bucket change, right? So we swapped out Fizz for Diet Coke, and she wanted to increase her hydration. So water up, Diet Coke down. Done. Clear. Really, really clear. And then she really wanted to get fit. She was like, I have not lifted weights in a really long time. I walk from time to time. I used to be a runner. Like I would really love to get back to feeling confident and just like energetic, but work and puppies and new husband and like all this, she had so much going on, and we simplified it down so niche, you guys. And she is so close to the end of her 12 weeks and has solidified these habits like I can't even explain to you. So the picture on the left, that's her doing Fit Zone. She has had like 3 trips back to back. So she had work trips, and she was on the East Coast. So she couldn't join the live classes. So she committed to the 2 days a week that she committed to doing the on-demand classes, and stuck with it. No problem. Then she went on a cruise. She took extra. I wrote up plans for her. She did the workouts on the cruise every single day. Diet Coke has been way down. Water has been way up. And I'm just telling you guys, like, this is the power of when we really simplify, we are then able in a short period of time, 12 weeks, to create a life-changing transformation. And again, these aren't things that, I mean, you're not going to walk up to her and be like, oh my gosh, you've completely changed every single thing about yourself. But these are things that have compounded over time to make her stand up a little taller, hold her head up a little higher. She's so proud of herself for following through. And that is what is available to you guys too, by just taking these little baby steps. Okay, so we're going to talk about homework really quick. So homework day 1 is to choose your focus. You're going to see a prompt inside the Facebook group. It'll just say homework day 1, and you're going to write down 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is your focus. Number 2, what you're grateful for. Number 3, an area that you'd like to improve. Super simple. When you watch the live video and say hi or comment replay, that gets you a point towards earning a prize. When you complete your homework, not only does that get you a point towards earning your prize, it also helps you actually take action on what we're learning. I am super excited to see you guys tomorrow for day number 2, Fitness Made Simple. We'll be going over my 2x5 method, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to hear your aha moments and your feedback from day 1, and I look forward to seeing you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Catch the replay if you need to. Thank you guys for being here.